Thank you so much. All right, critical care nurse Sandra Lindsay was on the front lines of the pandemic. She was the first in line to get the vaccine. You remember seeing her, and now she is bringing Americans back together. After more than a year of social distancing, Lindsay served as the Grand Marshal of New York City's Hometown Heroes Parade on Wednesday. Hundreds gathered in Lower Manhattan to honor healthcare and essential workers. So here it was, that moment back in December. Lindsay made history when she became the first person in the U.S. to receive the vaccine outside of clinical trials. And Sandra Lindsay, yeah, she was applauding there. We still applaud you. She's joining me right now. Thank you so much, Sandra. So good to see you.
Frederica, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, yes, we have come a long way, but then you just saw a reporter in Little Rock, Arkansas, where he was at a vaccination site. It was near empty, not because the majority of people where he is have been vaccinated, but because there's still a lot of people who are either refusing or are hesitant to get vaccinated. So what does that make you feel like, given that you were the first one to say, here, I'm an example, this is all right, but then there are a lot of people who still won't do it?
So, yes, Fred, I took the vaccine back in 2020 of December, and my message there then was I wanted to instill public confidence, particularly in communities of color, because I know that is where a lot of the hesitancy lies. From the reporting earlier, it just tells me that we have more work to do. And that is why, my health system, Northwell Health, we partner with community leaders, faith-based leaders in these communities of color to build trust with these communities. We have gained some success. I also volunteer and partner with the Ad Council and Real Chemistry, who are organizations who are putting the facts out there and addressing concerns and questions. So we still have more work to do to get people to get vaccinated and protect themselves.
So, Sandra, I wonder if, 8 months ago, your message was, look at me. I'm getting the shot. It was near painless. I'm okay. What's your message today, 8 months after that shot, to send to people to encourage them still to get vaccinated?
My message to them is that we're still not out of the woods, but we are better protected if we are vaccinated. Look at me, I'm still here, I'm still going, and I still continue to spread the message that COVID is real and the vaccine is our best defense against getting this deadly virus and getting severely ill and dying.
How far do you take your messaging now? I mean, yes, you're the Grand Marshal, and we saw you, getting that shot, the first to do so in December. Do you literally just walk up to people, and try to inform them? And what do you hear from people who express why they remain hesitant? What are the words you impart to them? What do you tell them? How do you convince people if by now, folks who are eligible to get the vaccine and haven't done so, what do you say to them to convince them otherwise?
Well, thankfully, I've had some big platforms to be able to share my message, such as I've been on a lot of programs on CNN, panelists on some big stages that reach a whole group of people. But also, in my organization, I have done a lot of town halls. I've spoken to people one-on-one because I do know a lot of people where I work at Long Island Jewish Medical Center. And just talking to people about, have you been vaccinated yet? And one of my colleagues recently just shared with me that, Sandra, I really want to get the vaccine, but I am so afraid of needles. Mm-hmm. And I offered to go hold her hand if we didn't align that day. But there's so many different reasons why, people are afraid of getting vaccinated. Some are the big stuff, like the hesitance or the mistrust, but some are also other factors, such as I'm afraid of needles. I'm afraid that I'm going to, get sick the day after. I don't have any sick time. What if I have to call in? I don't have anybody to watch my kids to go get vaccinated. And that's why we at Northwell we are getting into the communities. We're breaking down the barriers so that we can get our communities of color vaccinated.
Sandra, President Biden awarded you the Outstanding American by Choice Award earlier this month. Listen to what he had to say about you.
During the height of the pandemic, she poured her heart and soul into the work to help patients fight for their lives and to keep her fellow nurses safe. Sandra, if there are any angels in heaven, as I told you, having spent a lot of time in the ICU, they're all nurses, male and female. Doctors let you live. Nurses make you want to live.
All right, Sandra, I mean, you lived it. You were there at that moment. And you also donated your vaccination card, your scrubs, hospital badge to the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History. Why is it important for you to have done that?
Well, I'm going to just reference the great Robert Nesta Marley when he says, in our bright future, we can't forget the past. History is very important. This is a significant time in our history that, having those objects in the prestigious Smithsonian will be there for future generations to learn about what happened, all the sacrifices that were made, all the great people who, went above and beyond, heroic efforts to get us through this time. So it's very, very important to preserve our history.
Sandra, Lindsay, thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you for leading by example and showing us the way to a healthier, stronger existence.
Thank you, Fred, and thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you.